same men that voted for Trump are the same ones on the dating apps right now being like, looking for short-term fun, nothing serious, I'm not political or anything. There will be no fun for you within the foreseeable future within these next 4 years. Not if I have anything to do with it. We don't want you. You are being cut off. You will not have access. For these next 4 years, you are going to be blue balled. Better pick up a hobby. If you do find a woman that's interested in you, she will have no sense of self, and you're not going to grow up. She'll have the engagement gums.
Oh, dude, she'll have the engagement gums, bro. Oh, shit. What energy when she's like, you're getting blue balled. An upper lip is so funny, bro.
The engagement gums.
Engagement gums. Dude, she is amazing, bro. When I see people like her, I just feel like there's hope. There's hope in the world, guys. They're not all those like fake blondes with the pancake makeup doing the stupid fucking Trump jerk it dance in their ginormous high-ceilinged kitchens complaining about the economy. Remember that one woman who was complaining about the economy and then she took us out and showed us her brand new Jeep and the RV parked in their driveway? She had a Mustang and a brand new Jeep and an RV. But she was like talking about how the economy really had her bummed out. Oh, shit. Oh, that's good, dude. They have manicured lawns. They have the fanciest fingernails. Like, that's one thing you'll notice about the non-Trump women is they don't all have $200 nail jobs.
Remember how I told you guys yesterday how my Aunt Jenny sold my cousin's dog because she found out that she was protesting at reproductive clinics and voted for Trump?
Dude, she sold the dog, bro. That is wild. That is some next level shit.
Protesting at reproductive clinics and voted for Trump. I talked to Aunt Jenny last night. And, okay, so to start with, basically everything my cousin said was true. She sold the dog. Not only did she sell the dog, my Aunt Jenny cut off her cell phone. She cut off her credit cards. She stopped payment on the car insurance. My cousin owns her car, I think, so she still got her car, but she doesn't have insurance on it. And yes, she sold her dog. Now, I know a million of you were far more worried about the dog than you were my cousin voting away your reproductive rights, so I made sure I got the important part for you first. The dog is fine. She gave it to a family a couple houses down who have a 6-year-old daughter who's been wanting a puppy. And they didn't want a puppy. They wanted something that was 3 or 4 years old, so it was the perfect situation.
Dude!
Now, my aunt doesn't have to take care of a dog that isn't hers, that she never really wanted, and we get to punish my horrible, horrible cousin. Yay!
Oh, shit, bro. See, that's a commitment. Aunt Jenny, like, fully committed on that one. But think about that, though. Let's think about it from Aunt Jenny's perspective. Because obviously, if I'm paying for you, for your car insurance, and I'm paying for your credit cards, and I'm taking care of your animals, and then you vote to have my civil rights dismantled, I think it's totally okay to cut you off. Like, why would I want to continue financially supporting someone who voted against my civil rights?
And as a side note, that my aunt had every right to get rid of this dog.
Absolutely.
My cousin, she explained to me, got this dog 3 weeks after she started her freshman year of college. Tried to hide it in her dorm. That didn't work, of course. So she begged her mom to keep this dog at home for her. Her mom, her name is on the microchip. Her name is on the vet bills. Her name is on the vet records.
See, I think this scenario, though, illuminates something even bigger about Trumpism in general. This larger ethos in Trump world of offloading responsibility. And I think that that is really one of the core mechanisms of Trumpism. They want to be taken care of without having to participate in the taking care. If you look at a lot of the red states, none of those states are solvent. They all use more money than the state generates. They cut their own taxes. They cut their infrastructure. They don't fix their roads. They don't invest in their education. And then they require federal money to supplement all this stuff. And they do that consistently. They have the highest poverty rates, the highest crime rates. It is consistent across the board. They tend to not actually take a lot of personal responsibility for improving the quality of life. They consistently are complaining and having a quality of life that is not meeting their standards, and then it's always somebody else's fault. It's the immigrants, it's the trans, it's the gay, it's the Democrats, it's the, whatever. It's just a mentality of offloading. They're never the ones responsible for their own misery. They're always miserable, and it's always somebody out there's fault. If their little town sucks, it's the city people's fault, or the Democrats' fault, or the immigrants' fault, even if there isn't a goddamn immigrant in their whole in town. It is a consistent pattern of behavior. Dude, that is a fucking story, boss. Story and a half.
With all these around and find out stories, there seems to be like this misunderstanding as to why people are cutting off family members, not wanting to talk to people, not coming for the holidays. Listen to this story and see if you see what I'm saying. My 3 daughters all voted for Harris in Oregon, a state that gave all its electoral college votes to Harris. 2 of them have now stopped speaking to me. And 1 is boycotting Thanksgiving because I voted for Trump. I did not tell them how to vote, nor ever presume to argue or convince them that they are misled by propaganda. I let them vote how they wish. Very kind of him that he let them vote, by the way.
That's funny, too. He let them vote how they wish. That's pretty controlling to say that he let them vote how they wish. Like, homie, what was your other option? Come on, man.
He let them vote how they wish. It sucks that I must now suffer their childish and frankly rude behavior merely because they believe my one vote harmed them or their rights in some way.
Okay, now there we go. He says that he's now got to suffer their childish behavior because they believe his vote harmed them. But if you have 3 daughters and your daughters are saying, hey, Dad, this thing you're doing is harming me, you think, I mean, for me, when my kid was 7 years old, I used to grit my teeth when I got angry. And I thought it was cool because I never hit my kid. I would never hit my kid. My dad used to hit me. So I thought gritting my teeth was totally cool. But my son was like, Dad, when you grit your teeth, I think you're going to hit me. Even though you've never hit me, it feels like you're going to hit me. And I was like, oh, shit. At first, I thought, that's crazy. Like, what are you doing? But then I was like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. I don't want you to feel like I'm going to hit you. So what did I do? I stopped gritting my teeth and I found other ways to process my anger because my kid told me, like, what you're doing feels harmful. Can you stop doing that? You know what I mean? I didn't need to grit my teeth. It wasn't a necessary behavior. But it's interesting, though, that this guy, when his daughters are like, wow, what you're doing is harming us, and his response to that is you guys are childish and rude, instead of like, oh, okay, how am I harming you? Like, wow, maybe what I'm doing is not the right thing to do because my daughters are feeling harmed.
They believe my one vote harmed them or their rights in some way. Liberalism really is a mental disorder. Okay, sir, and anyone else that seems to have this thought process. We do not think your one vote is what mattered. It is that your morals seem to align with this man.
Yeah. That's really it. But first off, liberalism is a mental disorder. That's his take on that shit. It's pretty wild that his response to his daughters is that liberalism is a mental disorder and not like, man, maybe I should analyze my own behavior because my daughters are trying to communicate something to me. But again, though, I think what she's saying right here is it's not who you voted for. It is about this man is a sexually abusive, anti-woman, anti-trans, anti-immigrant, liar, dishonest, stole classified documents, fake electors, lied about the election for years. There's nothing about him that is honorable in any way. He tried to commit an insurrection because he didn't like the election result. And to this day, in the beginning of the election, he was saying how they're cheating in Pennsylvania until he started winning. And then all of a sudden, nope, no more cheating. He's just dishonest. He's dishonorable. And he's smarmy and and criminal. And so it's not about who you voted for. It's the fact that you looked at a ugly, smarmy, criminal, toxic, racist, misogynist, really shitty human being. You looked at him and said, like, yeah, that seems really good. I want that. If you want change and you vote for a horrible, despicable, hurtful, degenerate, dishonest human being as your representative, that makes you lined up with that person. And for a lot of us, that's just unforgivable.
Somebody who is repugnant, who is morally against everything that we believe in. And as we are now seeing with his cabinet picks, his tariffs, all the things he is doing now, we know that we are right in this. So no, it is not because you let them vote. It is not because that they are misled or that they believe your one vote harmed them. It is because you do not support them, your daughters. You did not stand up for their rights. That is why, that you do not love them enough to be able to recognize the person that you voted for.
Yeah, dude, he loved his daughters enough to tell them that while their rights are getting taken away and they stand up and speak up about it, he told them that liberalism is a mental disorder. Can you imagine that? You raise your daughters to stand up for themselves, to fight for their rights, to be strong, powerful women. And then when somebody comes along and oppresses them and they speak up about it, and then you tell them that they have a mental disorder. Like, dude, that's the shittiest fucking parent I think I've ever encountered in my life. He doesn't want his daughters to be strong, powerful women. He wants his daughters to shut the fuck up and allow people to take advantage of them. And they're supposed to just be okay with it.
I'm not a bad person because I voted for Donald Trump. Okay, but have you thought about why you are having to defend yourself right now? Have you actually sat down and had to think about...
See, this is really interesting. You have these people that are on the cusp of bigotry, and they engage in something, and then everyone's like, oh my God, what you just did was bigoted. And they're like, why is everybody saying I did something bigoted? People vote for Donald Trump. And then there's this giant backlash of like, we're cutting you off. We're not inviting you to the family gathering. And they talk about like the concentration camps and the civil rights. And then the Maga people are like, why are you reacting this way? Like, have you wondered why everyone is freaking out on this shit? Because if you're getting cut out from your family gatherings, and this is happening nationwide with a lot of people, and everybody's talking about, wow, that guy is terrible. There's a lot of racist shit. He's a sexual abuser. He's got these insane policies. He's spouting words from Hitler. Like, people are afraid they're losing their civil rights. Women are dying. Transgender people are worried they're going to be unsafe. And so people are like, you know what? We're cutting you guys off, MAGA. You guys have really crossed the line. This ain't even about politics anymore. But the MAGA people are not bothering to say, okay, well, why is it there is such a widespread reaction to this man? Is it possible that this guy really is a bad human being? Women are bleeding out. Girls are being forced at age 12 to deliver a baby. It's like, are they thinking about this?
But have you thought about why you are having to defend yourself right now? Have you actually sat down and had to think about why you are having to defend yourself and why your family and friends are considering cutting you out of their lives? Have you thought about why it is that serious?
It is that serious.
Have you stopped to consider why your friends are scared and that they might have a point? I will always be proud to tell my children and my grandchildren, if I have any at this rate, that I voted against Donald Trump 3 times in a row.
Me too.
I did
3 times.
everything that I could to stop him.
Everything.
And you are going to be the one justifying to your grandkids why you voted for him.
It's very telling. They don't reflect. They don't look inward. And it goes back to the things we talked about with that other woman, where they tend to exterior blame. That's what they do. They have a tendency to externalize shit. It's not us, it's the immigrants. It's not us, it's the gays. It's not us, it's the transgender people. You know, like even with their thing about transgender people, if they were to look inward, they would ask themselves, why am I feeling uncomfortable with the concept of transgender people? And then they would look into it. They would explore. They would get to know some. They would try to figure it out. Maybe they'd go see a therapist and they'd go into the therapist and say, you know, I have a really hard time accepting transgender people, and I'd like to look at this and figure this out. And they would be able to figure out what issue they have about transgender people, and they'd probably be able to conquer it. If somebody's living in a town of 93% white people, but immigration has them scared, everywhere they go, they're worried a migrant is going to murder them. That's got to be really uncomfortable. But there's really almost zero chance of a migrant coming to murder you if you live in a town in Wisconsin that is 92% white. That's a very irrational fear. It's like being afraid to go outside because you're afraid a piano's going to fall on your head. And if you were afraid to go outside because a piano might fall on you, it might behoove you to go and see a therapist or find a support group for people that fear large musical instruments falling out of the sky. Bro! Oh, shit, dude. But they don't look inward. They're not willing to look inward. They don't want to look at their role. Look at Nancy Mace. Obviously, transgender people, they bother her so much that she can't stop talking about them. She talks about them 12 hours a day. She takes a bullhorn to the police station to yell at them in the wind and use slurs. Like something is going on with that woman where she is having such a wild overreaction to the existence of one transgender woman in Congress. She is having such a crazy over-the-top reaction to that woman. But she's not willing to go and look and say, like, God damn, why am I having such a fucking overreaction? They don't do that self-reflection. And there's something going on with that shit. There's something going on that right-wingers are obsessed with transgender people using the bathroom, and they're like freaked out about transgender people in the bathrooms. But then when you go to Mar-a-Lago, the transgender woman is in the ladies' bathroom, and they're all taking pictures with her. They clearly don't have any issues with transgender women being in the ladies' room. Here's their home base as a transgender woman in the ladies' room, and everyone is not only safe, they're loving being there with her. Okay. Why are the people, if you support Donald Trump and in his own private environment, in the public ladies' room, the transgender women's just dancing and mugging with people and hanging out and everybody's cool, why is he going on stage making up lies about, you know, Jimmy getting his pee-pee chopped off, which is not happening, never happened, never going to happen, happened nowhere in the history of humanity. So why is he going on stage and lying about this thing? And then he goes to his club and transgender people get to just be themselves. That's a look inward. And why are you believing Donald Trump when he makes up those lies? Or you're okay with him making up those lies when you know in reality transgender people are allowed to just be themselves around him? You got to look inward, but they don't do it at all, dude. Not at all. My question for those people is, why do you think doing inhumane, racist, misogynist, xenophobic shit is like an opposing view? If you MAGA shitheads decide you want to bring segregation back, no, we're not going to be like, oh, the opposing view is segregation. You remember when the opposing view was slavery? The Northerners put bullets in all of their heads, bro. Sorry, guys. If you're going to try rounding people up into concentration camps, we may end up back in 1860. And you may end up being put out of business because there's certain shit that we're just not going to do. We're not compromising on segregation. We're not compromising on slavery. We're not compromising on concentration camps. We're not compromising on show me your papers hit squads. We're not compromising on trying to eradicate transgender people. We're not compromising on women bleeding out in the fucking parking lot. And we're not compromising on being forced to read your Bible in fucking grade school. So, fuck you. That shit is not a difference of political opinion. That shit is you trying to exercise some measure of inhumane and unconscionable control over treating your fellow human beings like shit. Like you're some kind of gods that get to direct everybody else's value. We're sure as not going to let you guys take us back to the 1940s. And if we have to go to war to prevent it, we shall go to war.